Well, so sunrise now. It's going to start getting hot again. Well, never got cold, but with the Kochi State Trail, and this goes north quite a ways. So I'll follow this for a while, and it's beautiful. The only problem I'm having so far today, every I don't know, quarter mile or less, I've been having to stop and try to keep that bag from hitting that front wheel, but I think I got it figured out now, so hopefully I can start making some time. And whew, maybe get Isfeld's telling me I need to try to get 100 miles today, because the hurricane is headed this direction really slowly, being stalked by a turtle, and so it's headed this direction. But if I can get far enough northwest before the hurricane gets here, then hopefully I can avoid a lot of that wind and rain. So I better get going. Okay, well, the goal was Perry, still 94 miles away. Okay, so I got a long ways to go today still. It's 11 o'clock, 94 miles. If I went 10 hours, the 8 o'clock. Almost 11, it'll be 9 o'clock, so I gotta do more than 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, so it rained on me a couple times. The first time I was getting some drinks at a little country store in Otter Creek, and then from there I continued on, and this is a little while after that. And another, and I got drenched in this. The cool thing about the rain in Florida is it was warm, and actually the water splashing up to the ground was maybe a bit too warm. Okay, so this is a bit sad, but this is what happened the first day. As I was getting into just a little bit before I got into Inverness, I started feeling like I was riding, and it's just like, why am I so out of breath? I mean, I haven't been riding hard and whatever, and it's just like so weird. It felt like, you know, climbing a mountain at high altitude. I could breathe and everything fine, but it's like I just somehow felt I couldn't catch my breath. It was a really weird thing. But after I stopped and set up my tent and everything, it was all okay. And so I thought, well, no big, you know, I didn't think anything about it really. And then on Sunday, I was going, and somewhere around just as I was going through Cross City, again I got to where I was just so out of breath, and I couldn't figure out quite what was wrong. So I stopped and I sat down on the grass, which in Florida is a bad idea. There was these ants all over, crawling all over me, and they bite and they hurt really bad. But after sitting there for a while, I still feel like I can't catch my breath, and so I tried to check my heart rate, and my heart rate it's going really fast, but it was hard. I couldn't tell how fast it was, because whenever I tried to measure my heartbeat, I'd feel, and I could feel my heartbeat, but it was really faint, and it was hard to catch my heartbeat, and it was just kind of weird, and so I started wondering maybe something's wrong, and I was really starting to worry about it. And I decided I'd just go on. There was a little forest just past Cross City, and I thought, well, I know I was going to try to make it to Perry, but I'm going to stop here and rest. And when I got to the forest, and I just, like, something is really definitely wrong. And so I called up my son-in-law, said something's wrong. I need to abandon, and still, this is like quite a while after that. My heart, I just wasn't able to catch my breath, and so I'm walking around, called my wife, told her what was up and what was going on, and then I'm waiting for my son-in-law to come pick me up. I was like a 2-hour drive away from where he was, and and so he got there, and even after 2 hours, I still felt like I just couldn't catch my breath, and something was really going bad, and so we drove back, and at some hospital, emergency room hospital, we went in there, and by this time it had been about 4 hours since I had stopped riding my bike, and when I'd measure my pulse, it was going still fast, still up in that 100 beats per minute range, but every few seconds, every 15-30 seconds, I would feel, and it would just skip a heartbeat. And so it's really weird, and I just felt really weird and bad. And so I went in and talked to him, and there's a technical name for this disease, for this thing I'd gotten myself into, which is basically my muscles were just deteriorating, and so I it's like there was this protein in my blood that was bad, and so that could be a sign of heart attack. It could be stuff. My mom had died from a heart attack, and it was just all too freaky. And so I had them check me out, and they did the whole workout, and I stayed in the hospital overnight, and then for most of today I was in the hospital as they were going through. They did an echocardiogram and a stress test and stuff, and basically the doctors have said I'm not supposed to do any serious exercise for another week, and then I need to be really careful because I'm getting into this state. And the weird thing is I've been drinking and eating better than I've ever drank on any ride, but it just wasn't working. I guess I wasn't absorbing the water, wasn't absorbing the electrolytes, and so my potassium was really low, and I was dehydrated, and my muscles were all breaking down, and so then my there's this CK number that was like, it was at 1024, and they said anything over 1,000 is really serious. It can cause kidney failure, and so you got to be checked in and stuff. So they took me in a hospital, or in an ambulance, down to the other hospital, and I spent the night there. And so I hate to have to abandon the trip from Florida to Utah, but the doctors, it's basically, if you keep going, you're going to end up killing yourself. And so I had to quit. And so, sorry, I guess that's the end of the expedition. Didn't go very far. Not how I wanted it to turn out, but I guess I'll spend the hurricane Dorian it's just been camping out on top of Grand Bahama Island and just destroying that island, I'm sure. And it may or may not have effects here where I am in Florida and cause damage in Florida, but we'll see how things go. I'm hoping that it doesn't do a whole lot of damage here in Florida. If it does, then we'll probably end up doing some work to help clean up here in Florida. If Florida, by some miracle, actually doesn't get hit by this, if it turns north like they keep saying it will, then we'll see. Maybe we can go help some people off in the Bahamas. It's going to be so bad. So that's my plan, and we'll see where I go from here.